The worst has happened. Paul O'Sullivan's assistant just admitted in Parliament that she slept with the IPID director while helping his investigations. She admitted spying on ministers. She admitted running state investigations as a civilian. If you want South Africa to know the truth, like this video. Let me show you.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever slept with Mr. McBride?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you were not in a relationship.
I was not in a relationship.
What is that? What do you call that?
A hookup?
Okay. How many times?
I don't know.
Were you a weapon used by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan?
No. And if I was, I did not, and I will take my revenge if I was.
Okay, before we go somewhere, let's start here. Duduzile Zuma writes a tweet on Twitter, and you go and open a case against her, correct?
There were quite a few tweets and videos.
And you opened a case against those
Correct.
because of those, right? Andile Ramaphosa is alleged to have been part of the Bosasa issue and saga. Why didn't you open a case? Why did you go for clearing his name?
Well, if you compare the two matters, firstly, you would have to ask Paul about the no. I understand on why he wanted to contact for that version of events. But if you compare the two matters, that was
maybe let me prompt your mind. Mr. McBride sent you a message saying Nhleko is trying to get rid of me again.
Okay, so he and Nhleko and Nhleko, McBride, all of that was part of the state capture and the state capture and the capture of the criminal justice system. And there was and Nhleko and various people and parties were trying to get some people out and some people in order to capture the criminal justice system. And this all happened together when the investigation into General Pakhlane occurred.
So you use the same modus operandi, right? Now, Minister Nhleko is unhappy with Mr. McBride. You decide, let's dig up some dirt on Minister Nhleko. Because let's assume you could investigate fraud, which is a disputed point right now. You respond and you say, do you have an ID number or a cell number? He asks you off, you say Nhleko, you said, yeah, send quickly. He sends you Mr. Nhleko's ID number, and you will respond by saying, I'll let you know if there's anything fishy. You're also asking for a title deed to his house and his vehicle ownership. We'll let you know when I get them. What on earth is this?
So that was on a sort of a lifestyle.
Why are you doing lifestyle things on ministers? Because Mr. McBride is unhappy that the minister wants to get rid of him.
Well,
what authority do you have, Sarah, that allows you to do that? Sorry, Ms. Trent.
The capture of the criminal justice system.
By who? Because right now that's the issue in question, whether it is yourselves or the other people you're alleging captured them.
No, I hear you.
So please just help me understand this.
Yeah, that's I believe that this was part of the criminal capture, and that there was interference, and there was. And yeah.
Okay, I think maybe let's stop there.
Let's start here. There are allegations backed up by evidence which has been adduced here. SMSs, WhatsApp text, and so on, which suggest that you had a romantic relationship with Mr. McBride.
So the issue of my cell phone, I have taken legal advice. I don't want to deal with the issues of the cell phone. However, I will deal with the allegations or the question on Robert McBride.
So the question is, here we've been given evidence which is suggestive of a proposition that you had a romantic relationship with Mr. McBride.
It wasn't a romantic relationship, but we did have a social relationship.
Yeah, what is a social relationship?
We had meals together, and there was an attraction. I don't know what else. How
It was
else?
an attraction.
Yes, it was.
Thank you for.
But it was not. It wasn't a romantic relationship. It was. Yeah.
Thank you for being honest. Have you ever been in the same room together, both of you? Not in a restaurant, but in a private.
Yes.
You've been. Thank you for being honest. And at that time, Mr. McBride was working for IPIT, was the director of IPIT, correct?
Yeah.
Were you part of a security WhatsApp group which had McBride, Siseko, Mahlangu, Binang, Rapesu, and other people? Were you part of that group?
Yes, at one point.
Okay. Now, what business do you have being in WhatsApp groups with IPIT investigators?
So as I remember, there was death threats, and then it was the Christmas holidays. And as I understood, it was to just keep everyone in, like, for safety.
So were they protecting you, or you were planning Christmas?
No, we weren't planning Christmas. No, it was just so that keep everyone safe.
Were they your friends?
No.
So you, okay.
So this, yeah, I don't know.
What else did you discuss in this group?
I can't remember. I don't have that group. I don't have the messages.
Okay. I think you've agreed at some point that you have been getting financial credit information of citizens for Mr. McBride. Yes?
Correct.
Okay. What allows you to do this? What statutory authority do you have to do this?
I just know that it is lawful for me to do that.
When you're a lawyer. What do you mean it's lawful? You're a lawyer.
I'm just. Okay. Give me a second. Yeah.
And while you're thinking about that, on paragraph 7.1 of your statement, you say that you became a certified fraud examiner in 2019, but in 2016, you were already conducting credit checks and running lifestyle audits. So I ask you again, how could you do that? You weren't even a fraud examiner.
I was an attorney, so that's also part of. I didn't think of that. I would also be. I can't think of the word.
Let me tell you what
Considered.
Sullivan said when I asked him this. He said the National Credit Act allows people to get such reports, which may be used for, amongst others, investigations into fraud, corruption, blah, blah, blah. He just forgot to mention that the regulation goes so far as to say, provided that SAPS or any other statutory enforcement agency conducts that investigation. Your company was neither SAPS nor a statutory enforcement agency. I think we can agree on that, right?
But I don't agree that we're not the only certified fraud examiners that have this contract with the service providers. It's not just us.
Okay, I'm not
So I think
which contract we're talking about. I'm asking you about going to citizens, and maybe let me get to a specific citizens. Why were you getting all of this information on Minister Nhleko, former minister?
So that had, just trying to think.
Okay. In paragraph 19, you say we accompanied IPID investigators to Sable Hills Estate. We conducted investigations and interviews there. What interviews were you doing? What investigation were you doing? Under what capacity were you doing that investigation? You say in your statement, go to paragraph 17, you say the reason you went to Sable Hills, which is actually something against what Mr. O'Sullivan said. You say you went there, you say we conducted investigations, we conducted interviews. Under what capacity and authority to do that?
I think I've covered that. We were, I'm just trying to think how I can put it in perspective. I don't really know how else to
Okay, so you agree with me that the investigation was an investigation of IPID?
It was an IPID investigation.
You agree with me that you are not an IPID official?
I agree, yes.
What investigation were you doing at Sable Hills Estate?
We were part of the investigation prior to it being opened.
How were you part of the investigation?
At Sable Hills.
It's an IPID, it's a state investigation.
Yes.
You are not state officials. How were you part of any investigation? What authority do you have over any investigation?
All I can say is it was not unlawful or illegal.
No, it was unlawful. Do you see now why the state charged you on impersonating IPID officials? Do you understand now? Because you say it yourself. And this is a document, an official document to depose in Parliament.